Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. And when I say that, I know that, like, the people who come to this channel have already experienced it. You've already been a Keeper of the Flame. We already know each other on a level. So even if you're first time here, welcome back. Welcome back to the Remembering. Okay, so this one is going to be a little bit different because this one could scare you off of getting on the awakened path, consciousness path, I should say, because woke is now what. Okay, so it's consciousness, when you are fully present in the moment. That's what I'm talking about. Not anything that some beer chugging dude sitting in front of a microphone on a freaking couch with dead animals and whatever else in the background. Okay, not talking about that. I am talking about being conscious, fully present in the body, keeping the vessel as clean and clear as possible without giving up the earthly pleasures that we were created to enjoy. Why would we have those mechanisms in our body if we are just can't touch them? That's the stupidest, most ignorant ka-chung thing ever, okay? So this is not about purity. This is not about any of that stuff, okay? If you need to have some alcoholic beverages and get some spirit going, do it. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying moderation, okay? Don't toxify yourself entirely so that way spirit can't get in at all, okay? So, that being said, full disclosure, I don't shame in yourself or projecting it out into the world and then having anybody who's listening to that kind of bullshit and they take it into themselves as if it were some sort of stupid truth, creates dis-ease in the body. When you are dealing with guilt, shame, fear, what's the other one? Guilt, shame, fear. Son of a monkey's butt nugget. Oh, extreme adoration. You are dealing with someone who is controlling and manipulating you. Okay. So, that's what being an honest human being means. You see the totality of the person, not the, sun shines out of their bumhole only, or the evil, malevolent, soulless crap narrative that's going on right now. That's just, both sides are a way to, it's a pathway in the brain that creates a outcome that takes fruition in society, that somehow people are to be held up on a pedestal in some sort of creepy, hierarchical, weird way that they're not, and they're gonna fall because they're human. They're human. And then you've got the narrative that there's this lower, the poor folk, the soulless folk, the NPCs, the whatever it is, that there's this narrative there, okay? That these people are more worthy than these people, okay? And do you know what that does? That hands you a giant freaking skid loader with a big shovel on the end to just off those people on the planet because they're soulless. We don't want them here. Ew, they're low vibe. Gross. Okay, that kind of. So you need to be diligent about what kind of is in your ear. You really need to be cautious of that, because sometimes they start off all sweet and lovely and delicious, and what they're saying totally makes sense and it resonates in the body and you're feeling good, and then all of a sudden you're not asking questions because now you've given your authority and trust over to somebody who has not in any way, shape, or form in the 3D earned it. Base. Okay, so when we for those of you who've seen Despicable Me, so the capacity for another to come into your energetic system is larger than the general population wants to believe. Everybody thinks they can't be fooled and bamboozled. You can. And a lot of times it's someone else's subconscious undercurrent that's just taking over their narrative. They don't have their own freaking narrative. They just like, I need to make some pentacles. blah, 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 blah. I want to blah, 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 blah. And sometimes the intent is really good. That yellow brick road is leading to somewhere that, you know, there's a big green curtain and there's a man fucking with you behind it. Okay? So the narrative really does matter because it creates an outcome. It creates a very specific outcome. And we are so programmed to ignore the outcome. Don't look at the pudding. Just shut up and eat it. Even though it tastes terrible. And you might have a guilty conscience. Just eat it. Okay? How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Anyway, I am not going to try to quote that exactly. So, again, the meat on the bone that we consume, thinking it's good for us, will get us pudding. When we don't look at the pudding, we're just busy consuming the pudding, going, they were NPCs, it's fine. They're soulless beings. Fuck those people. They're poor. Fucking, what a low vibe mindset. Screw those people. Ew. Gross. Get them off the planet. See what I'm saying, Vern? Okay? So when your subconscious undercurrent has to deal with all these cancellations and these flaws that people have and yada, 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 if they're not doing anything that's actually illegal, why are we picking on them? Why are we targeting them when there's billionaires that are actively seeking our poisoning, our torture, and our put as many people in that skid loader scoop as possible, folk? What are we doing? Okay? So we have been severely misdirected into perceiving the enemy as living right next to us because they probably have been programmed to behave. And they will fulfill that narrative if that's how you need to see the world. If you need to see the world through the eyes of vigilance, I don't want to say boundaries because those are energetic things that are important, but we do not engage in them correctly. We're told if you just say the right words, and the English language is bullshit for that. If you just do the right thing, if you just do this, if you just, no. You learn to read the energy or you're fucked. Sorry, kids. This is why I'm like, get the central nervous system under control. Because that way so many other amazing, wonderful things can come online and you don't have to watch years worth of Narky McNarkerton videos only to realize it's completely useless. Okay? Completely useless. I just said it. Because it doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good. I can attest to that. I spent like 6 years trying to like figure stuff out, and I still got into a narrative that was like, what? I thought I had worked through this. Nope. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way until you get into the energetic resonance and vibration. And I'm not talking about high vibe here. You high vibe, you are right in that pool of Narcy McNarcerton. I cannot explain to you how much spiritual narcissism is actually out there. It is terrifying. It is so terrifying. Okay, so that's a video for another day. Because I don't really want to broach it right now because I have so much charge behind it that I feel fear that I might be tempted to all of a sudden whip my scorpion sitting here out. And I don't really care to do that because the message needs to get across. Okay? Okay. So now we're dealing with people who believe that there's other people on the planet who don't deserve to be here because they don't have a soul. They're a walking NPC. They're not high vibe enough. They don't have enough pentacles in their bank account. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? This is how we give the billionaires permission to genocide. It's working in every facet. You find it everywhere you listen to. This person's a pile of shit. Blah, 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 blah. Now, granted, sometimes you come across some material like, oh my God, like true crime. Woo! I'm not saying you know, there's no bad people and there should be no consequences. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that on a subconscious undercurrent, anybody who's listening to those narratives about low vibe, not enough Pentacles, and not a believer, soulless, just be careful. Be very diligent that you pull your subconscious energy back out of that narrative, because it's just a way, it's a pathway for the billionaires to gain consent from the general populace that there's some person here that I declare shouldn't be here anymore. Okay? We have to remember that there are real consequences for the shit we have convictions about, not just beliefs, convictions. Convictions are things that you believe, and then all of a sudden it comes to fruition in your own life. Now, when we say things like my ex is a blah 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 and a blah 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 and should probably blah 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 because blah blah blah, that could be called a conviction. Not a belief, a conviction. And when they get us to convict, the process can begin. So, when this is floating around in your subconscious undercurrent, because it already is, you don't get a choice. You don't get a choice. You can just ignore it or let it float around. That's your subconscious undercurrent. That's why they don't want you looking at it. That's why they make shadow work so scary. That's why working with any sort of dark goddess energy is terrifying, and it must be stifled out because it's some sort of demon jinn energy. What do they call it? The Jezebel and the other, whatever the fuck it is, right? When you are told you are not allowed to explore facets of life because it's bad or evil, that is where the power is. And that's the only place the power is, because if it wasn't there, they wouldn't forbid you from touching it. They wouldn't forbid you from touching it. Okay? So, we have been told that power is Pentacles. We have been told that power is the land we stand on. We have been told that power is an authority figure that can put you in jail for no goddamn good reason, with no charges, and keep you there indefinitely. That's what we've been told power is. Hope it pays, because that's not what power is. That is a fragile, destructive, tyrannical dictatorship that at the slightest inclining of anything, they lose their shit. White males are the most fragile creatures on the planet. They are not the strongest, they're not the wisest, they're not anything. They are the most, even at birth, you can talk to somebody who's been around and seen a lot of births of multiple cultures. Talk to those people. Don't take my word for it. Go out and talk to people. Get the community on. See, I'll corrupt you good yet. I know, talking to people involves like, yep, it does involve. Mm-hmm. But just like they have something to tell you, you have something to tell them, right? So when you get that interpersonal experience, you don't have to look up stats on anything and go to red pill communities or the feminazi communities and believe what everybody else has said. Okay? And yeah, you're going to have confirmation on those experiences because you are a person who have lived, and you might have experience with those experiences, and that's okay. Just make sure you don't turn them into convictions, because there's a group of people that are growing right now that believe different sects of people don't deserve to be here. Okay? That's gleaning on your conviction. Okay? It's gleaning there. It's starting to develop. We're starting to notice a trend. The wheel is almost finished being constructed. Okay? Luckily, with the energy that's on the planet, they're going to take a fucking stick and stick in their own wheel. But we do need to be managing of how much energy we give them in the process. The whole purpose behind this channel is to subvert as much suffering as possible. And that means that we suffer for a few moments here and burn in the flame of truth. That's okay. That's okay. Because if it prevents some death on the planet, I think it might be a good thing. Right? Maybe just a little bit. Okay. So back to talking to people on the planet. Males, white males are the most fragile creatures on the planet from birth on. Okay. And that's going to be a difficult thing to understand. Okay. Now, you might be asking, well, who's the strongest? You're going to get real pissed off by this one, but it's, in the U.S. anyway, it's African American women. Girls. Baby girls. Because they have to be. Nature demands it. Nature demands that they be the way they are for that reason. And you think about all the shit that has to happen in order for that to be, it's pretty freaking bad, kids. Pretty freaking bad. Okay. So, that being said, I know I'm not doing the white hatred thing. I'm stating facts, so we proceed accordingly. I don't think we should start torturing white men. I think they're tortured enough, obviously. That's the only thing they seem to be able to put out into the world because they are under so much of it. Okay? So I believe that they're trying to get the white male back on the other side of that by torturing the crap out of them, which is not okay either. It's not okay. So, I'm not picking sides here. You can't fucking make me. I'm not shaming any race or any sex. You can't make me. That's the whole freaking purpose of every single solitary. Who can we hate on the most and be most successful? I know. Let's pick all the minorities because it's really easy, and we got the numbers, so we're gonna do it anyway. Ka-tink. Okay. So now that tangent is over, we have a bit of a crisis on our hands where they're stepping in front of or sitting in front of a lot of microphones and preaching a lot of bullshit. And we need to start sifting through that and making sure that we are not going to be soldiers in their war. And I don't mean that in a, you're going to sign up for some military contract to get XYZ in your bank account so you and your family can actually live here. Programming. Okay. I am talking about your energetic consent. If we can go off the incel narrative of the Matrix, which they don't know anything about, they really like to pretend they do. The narrative for that is you either go back to the system the way it is, or you unplug from the system, live in a freaking cave, and eat shit for the rest of your life fighting off machines. Does that sound like a good choice? Either way? It's not. It's stupid. It's fucking ridiculous. It is the most ignorant shit that people buy into. But we forget that the gazillionaires run the fucking media companies. And China had a lot of hands in vetting that narrative. A lot of hands. Oh, nah. Okay, fine. Whatever. Either way, the outcome is bullshit. It's complete and utter bullshit. We do not have to live how they tell us to live. It's just like a mythological story, like the Abrahamic religions, giving us this narrative or this narrative. You can either be with the Jinn or the Muhammad, the Jesus or the Satan, the Abraham. What the fuck did that guy hate? Or the river? I don't fucking remember. The desert? Was that the Abrahamic narrative? What were they fighting? Probably something like... It doesn't matter where you go or what you do, you will be hated. They were fighting the world. Okay, so... Yes, that's in there. It's just difficult to find on the interwebs. So you have to have one of them handy books right next to you with you. with the dead tree smashing into stuff, and then that ink that smells so nice. Okay, I'll be quiet. So, just so you know, like I tried to look it up the other day to like source it to somebody, and there ain't nothing there. I had to go look in my holy textbooks and find it for myself and take a screenshot of that bitch. Oh no, not a screenshot, an actual picture. Anyway, so when we have these narratives that are being forced upon us, we think, oh, this is such a great movie, what a fantastic blue 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 blue, and now we get trapped in a narrative because we love the movie so much. This must be reality, when it's just a teeny tiny fragment of it, just itty bitty teeny tiny itty bitty fragment of it. What they allow us to see on the crystalline, the dark crystal, what they allow us to see on the dark crystal, wink wink nudge nudge, go watch the OG movie first please, so you can see what the dark crystal does. I'm not shaming, I'm guilty of it too. Here we are, fucking around, finding it out. Okay, not shaming. I'm not shaming. I'm just saying, if we can see it for what it is, maybe just a little bit, just regulate. I'm guilty of it too, and it is shadow season, and I just binge watched, probably for the 20th time, True Detective, the first season. I just stayed up way too late, early, whatever. Okay, so I'm not shaming you. I'm not telling you don't do it. Just give in for a little while, say okay, blah 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 blah, and then let it go. So it's not the only narrative that exists, but they want you to believe that it is, just like with the Abrahamic pushes. They want you to believe that is the only way to exist in the world. You have to choose one of the three, or you have to go believe in life is suffering. Oh, I don't know if I'd give Hindus a pass. I don't know if I would. Or Norse. Or Celtic. God damn, if we knew more about the Druids. I try to tap into it, and I get some. Nature definitely helps with that. But that's the stuff that actually sustains people here on the planet, and they had no interest in wrecking it. They had interest in sustaining it and learning from it. So that jury's out. Okay? Take what resonates and what serves at the moment, and then release. Okay? Just, you've got to remember that release, because if you tie yourself to one narrative or another, you're going to find yourself on the end of a real ugly chain. Okay? And then you got to ask that fella for permission to get the fuck out. Okay? And that's why I say everything in moderation, because the moment you tie yourself to something in an addiction manner is the moment the actual problem begins to manifest itself. And that's how they want it. They want the non-believers to sit in that, whatever it is. They want non-believers to fall into that trap. Don't be praying for some predators out here. Okay, so the central nervous system has to deal with this 24/7. It's constantly running in the background because we allow it to. It's hard to get out of it. It's hard to step out. It's hard to be real. It's hard to come to a conclusion that these narratives have no business taking control of our lives. And that's what they do. We live from a subconscious level. We don't live unconsciously. We live from a subconscious undercurrent. That's how we base our decisions, because the subconscious is what's keeping us safe. The central nervous system is telling us constantly, are we safe? Are we safe? Are we safe? Are we safe? Or is there threat? Is there threat? Is there threat? Is there threat? So when you have to live under that, because you're not, most of those people are not giving any alleyways to get back to a state of calm and peace where they can actually relax. And that's where a lot of disease starts bubbling up, is because they're constantly under duress. And they do not want to admit that the thing that they base their life on, the beliefs and convictions that they hold deep in their soul, is the thing that's actually activating those diseases. They think it's the opposite. They think because they have those convictions and those beliefs that they're going to be fine in the world, when they have so much evidence that exists in their own body to the contrary. So we need to be gentle with our central nervous system. We need to be more compassionate and intimate with it, rather than shaming it as some sort of jinn, devil creature, lizard brain of some... No, it's there keeping your ass alive. Okay? Your job is to realize the actual threat and let everything else go when there is no actual threat. And the problem we don't seem to comprehend is that when we have a Scarface Sky Daddy that is constantly looming in the background going, one misstep and the jinn has got your ass. Are you going to be able to settle anything in your central nervous system? No. When the education system tells you, if you don't get good grades on this particular blah, 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 you're going to not be able to blah, blah, blah anything to do with your dream. Are you going to be able to settle and think for yourself and be calm and present in every moment? No. You are in hypervigilance, hyper stress, hyper trauma mode, because your entire future depends on this one fucking test. Ugh. Okay? Are you going to be able to comprehend what's actually happening to your system when you are living in a family, or have a family, or have a system of functioning in your everyday environment that is constantly demanding this, that, and the other thing, constantly requiring you to be a perfect person, constantly blah, 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 right? When you are under constant stress, there's no calm central nervous system. There's nothing there. All there is fear and panic. Fuck rest. You ain't getting it. You're not getting it. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Right? And then when you're in a work environment that is like, if you don't slave hard enough this week, I'm going to take you off some days next week because you're not a good slave. And then that puts a punch in your paycheck that says, hey, now I might not be able to afford a place to live or something to eat or blah, 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 blah. When you are under stress from, if I don't get this insurance, if I don't fill out the paperwork, if I can't remember my fucking password, if I blah, 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 if I don't do the X, Y, and Z, somebody's going to come and nail my ass to the wall. All this other shit, right? It's constant, and they designed it that way. It's on purpose. It's not by accident. Oh, that's just the way we do things. It's the best way to do things. No, it's not. Never was and never will be. Never was and never will be. The inception of all these patriarchal concepts was to create trauma in every single solitary system on the globe. You think the billionaires aren't panicking right now? You're sorely mistaken. Sorely mistaken. Okay. So, rather than repeat history, hold your line. Get safe in your body. Whatever that takes for you. Okay? And no, I'm not talking about drugging out. Maybe microdosing. Get some Blue Lotus tea. Ashwagandha. Not ayahuasca. Ashwagandha. It's an adaptogen that eases the little nuggets that sit on top of your kidneys. Okay? Just please don't. There's no need for the deep end here, because the more energy we spend trying to hold on to a system that's seeking our demise, the more it feeds that system. So if we just let go and get safe in our own system, safe in the body, okay? This happens a lot through somatic exercises, breathing appropriately, body posture, talking to your central nervous system, telling yourself and your central nervous system that it's safe, that you're okay in your body, that you're not abandoning it anymore. You're not going to ignore it. You're not going to reject the signals that are coming. You're not going to tell it, to shut the F up. You're going to say, I honor you. I love you. I listen to you. We're going to get through this together. Okay? And then this weird thing starts happening where you can talk to other people like that. I know, scary. Okay. So again, lived experience probably going to be your best way forward. Okay. Stop looking at stats. Stop listening to red pill. Stop listening to political. Stop listening to religion. Okay. So detox as much as you can and just brace yourself that you will be tired for a while because your system has been running for however many decades you've been alive. Okay. And honor that. Don't poo-poo it. Don't shame it. Don't be like, why can't I be more disciplined? Breathe into it, honor it, and release. Okay? The human psyche was never designed to be like this. And they're like, the psychologists will tell you, you need trauma. You need something to move you from a system of safety into a state of trauma in order to get anything accomplished. What's wrong with existing again? Oh, we need the slave master narrative to be productive. Nope, that's a lie too. Okay, so stop the hustle culture bullshit. Let it go. You can pick it up later. But right now, release. In this shadow season in the northern hemisphere, let it go. Release it and see what comes back. Do not death grip. Okay? And don't form any convictions. Okay? Especially when it comes to people that are worthy of life versus people not worthy of life. Okay? Easy. Okay? Easy on that. Because they're just going to use it against you in the end. Okay? So, let the central nervous system do what it does best, which is calm the fuck down and alert us when there's actual threat. Alright? Find somebody locally that can help you handle that. So somatic, breath work, getting intimate with your central nervous system. Deeply intimate. It's inside of you, for fuck's sakes. Get intimate. Okay? And yes, light it some candles and bring it some roses and shovel some chocolate in your face. Intimate. Okay? Now, whatever else you feel called to do is your business. I'm not saying anything like that, but you do need to love yourself. Because yourself has kept you alive and kept you whatever state you're in right now. It's done a damn good job, especially considering all of the shit that's been thrown at us. Okay? Fucking honor that. Hold it